Baskakov, surrounded by players there, didn't really do a lot there. I've been praising him up and he didn't do much at all. Why are none of our players running on the ball there? It's 2-0. What was that? How's it going, everyone? My name is Stu and welcome to my Deportivo La Coruña save here on FM24. Thank you for joining me in today's video, which is part number 67 of the save in the final season, in which we're going to be looking at the second quarter of the season that we've played up until this point, have a look at a couple of the most important games in that period, and then we're going to play today's big game against Barcelona, who are currently one of the teams chasing us for the league title. Doesn't that sound a little bit tasty? And if you're excited to see how that goes today, don't forget to leave a big like on the video for me. And don't forget to subscribe as well. It's completely free to do so. You put a big smile on this face right here. What's not to love? If you are new to the save, you've left it late, but welcome. Hope you have a lovely time while you're watching this video. And if you want to go and catch up on the rest of the save, big playlist up top there. So, since you were last with us, well, the last time you were with us was the Mallorca game, I believe. I could be getting that completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was the Mallorca game. A lovely time was had by all. We have had some big games since then, so I'm going to take you through 3 of them. We'll have a look at how those games have got, and then we'll get you up to speed with where we're at right now. And the first really big one was the Champions League against Liverpool. We had a few decently big games in the meantime, but this was really the biggest one. Probably, alongside Manchester City, the biggest game in our Champions League phase select. I still hate it. I still hate the league version of the Champions League. But yeah, it's probably the second biggest game, or the joint biggest game. And, well, it's Liverpool. A Liverpool side who are at the moment in the Premier League. Well, they're not doing the best. As it currently stands in the game, they're 4th. I don't know where they were at this point in the season, but at the moment, halfway through the season, they're only in 4th and 9 points behind leaders of the Premier League, Spurs, which, that's a bit nuts when you stop and think about it. And it's safe to say, with Liverpool being Liverpool, not exactly holding out a lot of hope in this game, even though we're at home at our brand new stadium. But they do give the ball away here. Herculano gets it to Salvador. Salvador loses possession, but we end up back with it again. Bojan Ilic gets in the box over to Joe Veloso. And our brand new striker, who's been with us for a little bit, who we've just decided to convert into a striker this season, makes it 1-0. Herculano again gets it to Salvador. Canate gets in the way there, but Maria gets it out to Sandoval. Sandoval down to Bojan Ilic, whose name I got wrong completely, who squares it to Veloso. 1-0 Deportivo. Any worries about it being just a quick goal before the battering came were put to bed in the 41st minute. Some lovely passing from us led to Maria getting it to Joe Veloso. Veloso actually loses it to Szoboszlai, but again, Bojan Ilic getting involved here. The man who doesn't like big games. Gets it to Sandoval with a lovely little turn there into Salvador. Over to Ramon Maria, who makes it 2-0. And we start to believe that just maybe we're going to get a big scalp in this league phase. Yes, it's at home, but still, Liverpool, even though they're not maybe doing as well as they'd like to in the Premier League, a big European team. Sandoval, what a lovely turn that is. Gets it to Salvador. Salvador gets the assist to Maria. And Maria, who's not been that great in the last couple of seasons, if we're being completely honest, has had moments of brilliance, but makes it 2-0. But we just can't help ourselves. Free kick from Maria into Sandoval. 3-0. Sandoval's making a little habit of scoring these kind of goals. He just gets on the edge of the area and just decides he wants to thump it. There's nothing fancy at all about this free kick whatsoever. It's just very well worked. And Sandoval's 15 for long shots definitely plays a hand in the goal, which takes us through nicely to half-time. Lovely. And this is what happens when you don't pay attention to what's going on. I didn't pause when making substitutions, so the game is still going on while I'm sorting out resting a few players, because I've already decided at this point the game is over. And Johnny Salvador goes and scores while I've not got the camera on, and I'm at this point thinking, what do I do? What do I do? I need to get off. I need to be able to show the goal. I'm going to cancel all my changes. No, I'm not. I'm going to decide to go back and just watch the goal in the highlight format. You can see the ball is in the back of the net there. It's Karnasetchi, by the way, who's in goal for Liverpool, so he did not have a lovely time, but we'll go back and watch it. So Silva starts to move. I get it to Arnaud Martinez. Big ball forward to Ramon Maria, who's had a good game today. Whips it in. Johnny Salvador's there. 4-0 to Deportivo. Lovely. We do give up a little bit of ground. A big throw-in comes into the box. It's flicked on. Silva manages to clear it out, but Dominic Szoboszlai just decides he wants to grab a goal. Gets the ball from near the centre circle and just thumps it into the back of the net. Rest could probably do a bit better there. But at 4-1 on the night in the 92nd minute of 93, I think we can let this one go a little bit. To be fair, though, fair play to Szoboszlai. Runs back, retrieves the ball, comes back towards the edge of the box and thumps it. It's a really nice goal. Restes probably should do better, but that was the game. Although I know that we are a good team, it's still a surprise when we beat a team kind of like Liverpool and we do it so comprehensively. Again, I know it's away from home for them. It's at home for us at our brand new fancy stadium. But we did dominate them. We had twice as many shots. We had a good amount on target. Our XG was excellent. We actually performed better than our XG. They actually committed more fouls than we did, which is rare because normally we're the foul kings. But our possession, our passing was all over them as well. Veloso and Salvador both having good games. Baskakov not doing as well as he has done recently, but Sandoval and Maria doing really well in the middle as well. I can't complain with that one at all. The next one was against Bayer Leverkusen, who, remember, a couple of seasons ago, were Champions League finalists. They didn't win, though. Who did they lose against? Us. Well, this should be a bit of a spicy one. I say that, there were plenty of yellow cards, but the entirety of the first half was completely highlightless. They were definitely on top of the game in terms of chances. We were on top in terms of match momentum, but no highlights whatsoever took us into a half-time where we were a bit confused as to what we needed to do. And after a little bit of tactical tinkering, we finally had a few highlights and we finally had a goal. We worked things from a throw-in in Leverkusen's half. Start to pass around a little bit. Litzkas into Baskakov. Baskakov goes out wide to Ilic. Ilic looking for somewhere to put the ball. Decides to put it into the path of our fearless leader, our fearless deputy leader, Johnny Salvador. Captain to vice captain. In fact, not even captain to vice captain. Salvador's like the third captain. Either way, my point is, it's team leader to team leader, and it is finally 1-0. And I very nearly did it again. Just sorted some things out with the final substitution. We do actually come straight into a highlight. Herculano, get it to Litzkas, back to Herculano, into Levine, into Baskakov, into Ilic. Ilic looking for options, goes back to Baskakov, who makes it 2. And you wait for goals to come, and then 2 come along at once. It's actually a highlight for Bayer Leverkusen, but we intercept it. Bojan Ilic does a really good job. Get it to Johnny Salvador. Johnny Salvador now looking for somewhere to put the ball. He's right on the touchline. Whips it into Adam Hlajek, who's not featured as much this season, but started to get back into the team. Pass it around a bit. Litzkas goes on the edge of the area, and he is, again, similar to Sandoval. Just has a knack for just putting the ball into the back of the net from a long distance. His long shots of 14, not quite as good as Sandoval's, but he's still got a little bit of magic in those feet, and it's lovely when we get to see a goal like this going. Lovely little curling effort. You could argue James Trafford should do better. In fact, I don't think it's arguable. He really should. And that was it for that one. Bit of a dirtier affair. We got a few yellow cards, just a few, 6, but then they got 4, so it was just one of those games. They actually did batter us. They had 17 shots on target, but they were wasteful. Their XG was lower than ours. They had less shots on target than us. Our passing was much better than theirs, and we had more possession as well. So really, we should have probably been a bit more fruitful in terms of our shots, but we were more composed, and we were... I'm looking for a word and it's not coming to me. I should edit this out and redo it, but I'm not going to. But we were more concise with our chances. You know the word I'm looking for. We were more efficient. Efficient, that's the word I was looking for. Much more efficient on the night, and it's yet another occasion where we've got the better of Leverkusen. And the final game we're going to show you highlights for is the league game against Real Madrid. It's away from home at the Bernabeu. Real Madrid had a bit of a rocky start to the season. We came out of the gates absolutely on fire compared to them, as did Barcelona, although they're fallen away a tiny bit. So it very much is a case that Real Madrid, as you can see, really needing to win this one, or at least making sure they don't lose, just so that gap doesn't open up any more than it already has. And we get off to a really good start. Onana goes back to Canizares. Canizares plays it to Zabarnyi. And Zabarnyi, who's a very good defender, makes an absolute hash of this completely. And Johnny Salvador needs no invitation and makes it 1-0. I much prefer when these goalkeeper errors happen to someone else and not me. And this was one of those occasions. We're away at the Bernabeu and we get gifted an early goal in the 4th minute. Zabarnyi should be doing much better than this. He has got an option. He could just go back to the goalkeeper. Makes an absolute hash of trying to pass the ball out. And Johnny Salvador should not be missing in those situations, and he doesn't. But then we have our own defender mishap. Rebel with an absolutely woeful free kick, ends up not going to Bowie, gets him completely out of position for Endrick's shot, and Endrick makes it 1-0. 1-1, I should say. I cannot describe just how badly this went over with me when I watched this. It's just such a weird free kick. I don't know why the keeper's not just taking it and hoofing it up the pitch. I'm so angry that I got rid of the highlight. That's how annoyed I was. But after some substitutions and tactical tinkering, we managed to have another glorious start to the half. Adam Asnu gets to Baskakov, who just lets it run through to Johnny Salvador, and Johnny Salvador makes it 2-1, because that is what Johnny Salvador does. He does Johnny Salvador things, and that is why we absolutely love him. One of the best players in the world. He has officially won one of the awards this season. I will double check that, which one it is. He's lost a couple of them as well, but he has won one of the awards for being the best player in the world. And that is why. We don't have to wait that long for another goal. We start off with Real Madrid attacking here. Frimpong going down their right-hand side, our left-hand side. But Adam Asnu does a good job of defending it. But he only launches it forward as far as Zabani. Salvador not able to get on the end of it. And Real Madrid build from the back. Onana with a lovely pass over the top. Our defence are completely wrong-footed. And what Restes is doing there, I don't know. But he gives Cendric a goal. It's checked for offside. It's not given as offside. And it's Real Madrid 2, Deportivo La Coruña 2. And all our hard work completely undone by two mistakes. One by a defender, one by our goalkeeper. I hope you like some gut punches. Rodrigo gets it to Bellingham. Bellingham whips it in. Endrick and Rebel doing some work here, trying to keep it out. And Coyote ends up shooting it, but it goes off of Rebel, who just had the worst possible game. Ended with a 5.9 as I'm taking him off here. It says 6.3, but he actually went down to 5.9. I go straight into substitution mode. We've gone from winning this game twice to losing it. We need to do something. So the changes get made. We decide to go a little bit nuts on some of the tactics. We're just doing anything we can just to try and salvage the game here, because we don't really want to be losing any ground against Real Madrid. Because, of course, it's not just Real Madrid as well. It's Barcelona. But then, Herculano, Rengifo, Asnu, passing around between themselves. Real Madrid have been not necessarily all on top of us, but we have definitely been pushing them to try and get something going. We've changed the tactics slightly as well. We've gone with three strikers up front. Levine gets it in. Salvador can't do anything. And Joe Veloso gets a 95th minute equaliser that gets checked for offside. I eyeballed this and knew that Joe Veloso was not going to be the person offside. So I was pretty confident this was given, but the hands don't go up. And it's disallowed in the 95th minute. Watch the highlight with me here. Levine gets it in. Salvador's chances there. Veloso's miles onside. It is literally Salvador, who isn't in the line of the shot, who is the reason why the goal is disallowed. And heartbreakingly, we lose in the 95th minute. You see Rebel's 5.9 there. Shocking. So since that Mallorca game, those are the most important games that we've had. We have also had victories against Valencia, Athletic Bilbao, and then after the game against Real Madrid, we did also beat Bilbao again in the league. The first one was in the Champions League, which is a bit weird. And also Villarreal, we battered them as well. So other than the Real Madrid game and the Manchester City game earlier in the season and the random draw against Osasuna, everything's coming up Millhouse. It is looking really, really good. In terms of the Champions League, things are also looking pretty good in there as well. We are currently in the top 8. We are currently set for the playoffs. That's no problem at all. And our final two games are against Galatasaray and Copenhagen, I do believe. Let me just double check that. Yes, Copenhagen at home and Galatasaray at home as well. We should be good in terms of Champions League. I think we should be good for the automatic qualification through to the round of 16. We'll see about that, though. I'm not 100% sure, but that is where I think we're going to be going at the moment. So, quite happy with how things are going there. Now, transfers. I do need to mention there have been a couple of transfers that have been made. Transfer number 1 out of the club, Eli Wahi. He's out the door. He's gone. He went for a bit of a loss, £45 million. We paid 51. Honestly, it's because of that record that he's had this season. Not a single goal. Now, he's not played many games, but it's because every time he steps onto the pitch, he's been atrocious for us. And from the looks of things for Real Madrid, who have signed him, I was a bit hesitant to sell him to Real Madrid, but he didn't have a great start for them either. So maybe that was a wise decision in terms of a sale. And the player that we brought in to replace him isn't a replacement. It's actually someone in a different position. Stefan Bajetic has come in as a backup defensive midfielder. We've signed him because we know him. He was obviously with us back in the 2027-2028 season. I'm pretty sure he's won a league title with us. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I am pretty sure that he did win. Yeah, he won the La Liga and Super Copa with us as well, and then he went to Bayern Munich after winning the title with us. So he didn't win the Champions League with us, but he is definitely going to be part of the best defensive midfield partnership or rotation partnership we've had with him and Herculano. So I'm quite happy to have him at the club. Cost us £28 million. It's more than what we paid for him before, but less than what Bayern Munich paid for him. So I'll consider that a good bit of business. That leaves us with this amount of money to play with. Zero intentions of making any more signings. For me, that's going to go towards contracts, which we don't really need to worry about because we're not going to be here. But that is pretty much everything we need to tell you. That is how everything's looking. We're currently got the third best defence in the league, the best goal score. The best defence in the league, third best attack in the league, which is good. Apparently, we're good at yellow cards but bad at red cards this season, all things considered. And our average attendance is kind of split, remember, because of the new stadium not coming in at the start of the season. But that is how we're looking in terms of the actual league table. And all of the other things to go along with it. That's how it looks. But there is something really cool. Joe Veloso, second best player and second top goal scorer in the league. Johnny Salvador being first in both of those. What I also would like to show you as well is that is not what I wanted to search. I wanted to search in here for Johnny Salvador because he is World Footballer of the Year, which is really cool to see. We'll pat him on the head for that. Bellingham and Wirtz come in second and third respectively. And then World Player of the Year, separate award, he came second in. So you win some, you lose some, but he was the striker in the World Team of the Year as well. He also, I'm just looking at my other computer just to find it, because I can't remember what it was, came number 1 in the Goal 50. I'll try and put that image up on the screen so you can see that now, but he came number 1. He's the only player in our squad who was in there. He was one of 2 new gens in the list as well. Roussel from AC Milan, the 23-year-old French striker, was the other one. So he's obviously the player that Salvador was keeping out of the World 11, so that's pretty cool to see. Right, Barcelona. This is the 11 that we're going to be putting out there to hopefully try and get 3 points against the team who have been title rivals for us this year. It is Restes in goal, Martinez, Rengifo, Ribel and Ilic in defence, Rodriguez, Maria, Litzkas and Baskakov in the middle with Veloso and Salvador up front. Now, the plan with Rodriguez is to loan him out. Why is he starting? Well, he's starting because number 1, Bietic has only just joined and hasn't been playing football, so he's not sharp. But also, we've got a bit of an injury, well, not a crisis, but we've got a selection of injuries. Sacha Boey is out for up to 2 weeks, Rui Silva is out for 7 days, and Herculano is out for 12 days. It's really not ideal. It's not an ideal defensive partnership to go against Barcelona, but it's the one that we're going to have to go with. So let's just see what happens, shall we? Other than those particular selections, it is more or less the strongest 11 that we can put out there. Martinez wouldn't be in there, Rengifo wouldn't be in there, Rodriguez wouldn't be in there, but everyone else is pretty much our strongest 11 as we can put out. It's not ideal, but we'll do what we can with it, and fingers crossed we can get a win today. We'll try anyway, we'll try. Barcelona have had a good season. They are, for a large part of the season, they were the second best team, but Real Madrid had a shocking start to the year, to the season, and they have started to really pick things back up, although Elia Wahi being a striker for them might potentially ended up scuppering that. But yeah, so normally when we come against Barcelona, I have kind of a false little bit of hope in the back of my head. I don't necessarily have that today because of how well they have been doing this season. I feel like they are actually going to be a bit more of a threat. They have strengthened the team quite well, and the right back they've signed was the right back we were looking at. This Sabensia guy on the wing is a sensational winger, and he causes us all kinds of, well, has the potential to cause us all kinds of problems. I've had a cheeky look at him, and he doesn't like big games. That's the only thing that we could have in our favour. Right, ball forward, but the highlight ends without anything happening. Barcelona have been on top so far in the early few minutes. That's fine as long as we don't do anything silly. We have the potential to do something silly, though, because we're managed by me. So let's see. We're taking a while on this free kick, Barcelona. I don't know why we're doing that. If you can get a move on Sabensia, that would be great. Let's see what he does here. Goes for the shot. Restes ends up making a bit of a hash of the save, but a save he does make. And Yamal now has the ball gonna try and get forward. But Litskas intercepts though. Doesn't have anyone with him. He needs some support. Ends up getting it from Milic behind him. And the highlight again ends. We're defending quite well here. Oh, we've got an injury to Baskakov. That's a bit of a problem. Baskakov's been a really good player for us recently. We'll bring Arda Gula on. But that isn't great. That isn't great at all. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Baskakov's been... He's settled in a lot more this season. He's starting to look like a better player, which is good considering how hyped up he was. Right, we have the ball. Rodriguez gets to Rebel. Ilic now into Litskas, into Gula. Gula tackled on the edge of the area, and he might have actually, in one of his first actions, won a penalty. It's being checked on the monitor. This might not get given. It might get given as a free kick. It was on the edge. If it's on the line, it's a penalty. So let's see what the little man in the referee's ear and the little man in the telly says to the referee. No penalty. No penalty. It's not even a free kick. It's been judged to be a dive. Well then. That's a bold move from the referee there. Very bold indeed. Okay, well. We need to start getting a little bit more of a foothold in the game here. Restes is currently doing a good job for us. But Rodriguez has picked up a knock as well. I tell you what, Barcelona at the moment, they're doing a number on our players. I'm just going to take Rengifo off of hard tackling. I think we're going to have to take Rodriguez off as well. I'd rather hold off on that till half time if it's possible to do so. Just because I don't want to use up all of my substitution slots. But Rodriguez, who's not had a bad game actually, on the 6.7, he's not had a great game, don't get me wrong. It's been a bit of a poor half from us, to be honest. We need to get a little bit more into the game in the second half. It is going to end the second half. Sorry, the first half was 1-0. 0-0. Goodness me, Stu. I'm going to say that one. I'm going to hype the boys up a bit. The defence do need to do a bit of a better job. I'm going to tell them they're not doing particularly well. To be fair, most of the attack as well need to be told. And Gula needs to do a little bit better. Right. We're going to have to make that substitution for Rodriguez. But Jetic is going to come on for lack of a better option, even though he's only just joined us. I don't have a comfortable defensive option that I can bring on. So we're going to have to leave these two and the right back. I could bring on Asnu, but he hasn't played a lot of football recently. But I think I will do that just for comfort. And then in the attack or the midfield, Maria could come off for Levine. But I don't know if that's a wise decision because Levine, of course, did play for Barcelona last season. I'm going to do it just to freshen things up a bit. And then we're going to do what we did against Real Madrid. We're going to go higher tempo, hit early crosses. We're going to focus through the middle. It's going to come off. And we'll go with that. We're not going to go attacking, but we'll go with that. We are at the new camp today. We are expecting us, or at least I'm expecting us to be a little bit, I don't know, outnumbered to a degree. Tell those guys that. And then we'll just fire the boys up. Let's see if we can get the ball and just get it forward a bit quicker than we were doing. We need to get possession in order to do that, though. So let's see whether we can get possession off of them. Right, Yamal gets it to Bernal. Bernal into Pedri. Pedri to Spencer. Spencer into Vitinha. Tifati's through. And Rengifo didn't do anything. Rengifo didn't even try. I have taken him to ease off tackles, which is probably a bit of a problem, and that has put Barcelona ahead here. Right, we're going to go attacking now. That's probably what the problem is here, because he had a chance and he didn't take it. Right, I'm just going to have a quick look at the opposition instructions just to see. I'm going to start pressing Bernal a little bit and press the goalkeeper. Vitinha already trying to hard tackle. We'll hopefully try and do that a little bit more. There's a lot of instructions on there, Tim. I don't like having so many instructions on, but we're going to try it. Right, demand more from the boys. Starting to have a few more chances here, but every highlight really is starting with them in possession. We need to get the ball and get it forward quickly, and we're not doing that at the moment, but we need to start actually trying to get the ball right. If we start pressing the goalkeeper there, boys, maybe? No? Okay, fine. Right, Vitinha. Someone going hard on him. Someone just going hard on him. No. No one's going to do that. Okay. I'm even trying to intercept there, which is a bit disappointing. I'm not feeling good about this one. I'm not feeling good about this one at all. Right. Harto now coming in from left back, out wide to Sabencia. Sabencia into Ansu blocks. Yamal is there though. He's still got possession here. Goes to Kutlu. Kutlu into Bernal. We're trying to press him. Pass him back to Araujo. We've actually done well to defend that there. Really well indeed. Our defence is not having a good time at all. Martinez and Rengifo both having poor games. I think we've got one substitution left. I don't really want to make it just yet. Right, I'm going to demand more from the boys. Want to work a little bit harder here. Martinez having a horrible time out there against Valencia. Absolutely horrible. Again, another highlight. It's another highlight in Barcelona's favour. We're just not able to get a foothold in this game at all here. And Ansu Fati's just danced through us. He's danced through us completely. Right. It's a poor game. It's a really poor game from us. I think we can accept the game's probably over now, so it's damage limitation. But if we can get a goal back, all of a sudden we're looking a bit better. But we're just missing a bit of fight in the middle here. We're just going to go for it. We're 2-0. Let's just try it. Let's just see what we can do. Don't try, you don't get. But I'm pretty confident that this game's out of our hands now. This will probably drop us to third in the table. We were already second. Barcelona will leapfrog us here. And we're going to go higher tempo. Just going to go for it. Nothing else we can do at this point other than just try and pull a rabbit out of the hat, and I don't think we're going to be able to do that. Now, Yamal has gone off. Yamal, I always get his name mixed up. Yamal, rather, has gone off for them. We've actually got the ball here. Joe Veloso has gone for a shot. We've actually had a shot on target. I don't know whether that's our first shot on target. It's nice to see. Right, good to see Salvador's trying to hustle the goalkeeper a bit there, making it difficult for them to get any short balls out, which is nice to see, and they go forward. Right, Bejetic gets forward to Levine. Levine doesn't even try, though. That is disappointing from him. Very, very disappointing. Right. Semencia's gone forward here. He's dragged it wide, which is good to see. Right. Beatrice has a good start, but we have moved him around a little bit. I'm forgiving of his performance if he doesn't have a good one. Right. Fire the boys up. Final 10 minutes. They've been all over us on this one, which is a bit disappointing to see. Yes, we're away from home, but there's no excuse for it. No excuse for it at all. And it will put us down to third, which is going to give us a bit of a job if we want to retain our title again. Oh, boy. Right. I think the mid-season break probably came at the worst possible time for us. Yes, we had that win against Athletic Bilbao. But, oh, man, that's not good. That's not good at all. None of the players obviously disagree. And he does put us to third. Still got the best goal difference in the league. Only by 2 goals, though. But that's not a good performance. That's not a good performance at all. I think the game's frozen a bit here, which is a bit concerning. I mean, it could have been worse, but we didn't show much in that game, which is a bit concerning. Now, granted, we've just come back from the mid-season break. I focused on game time rather than training leading up to it. Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe what we should have done was focus on training rather than actually playing football. But that's on me. We've got Granada coming up. That is a good opportunity for us to bounce back. But that is a bit of a... not a concern, because Barcelona have been better this season. This game really doesn't want to load, by the way. There we go. Barcelona have been good this season. I mean, they're second for a reason. I mean, if we look at their fixture list and have a quick look at how they've been doing, it makes for a very similar reading to ours. They lost the Super Cup. Of course, they won... Did they win the Champions League last season? Well, they must have done, mustn't they? They've had a very, very good start. They, I think, also lost against... In fact, have they played Real Madrid? I'm sure they have early on, and they lost. I'm sure they did. Yeah, they did lose against Real Madrid. But they have had a very good run in the league. Their Champions League campaign isn't doing very well, but in the league it's not too bad. I think we have to take that one on the chin. And that might be down to my preparation, to be honest with you. Right, injury to Baskakov, 4 to 5 weeks. Oh, 4 to 5 weeks is not good. Because he has been good for us as well. He really has been. Like, I mean, ignore the friendlies. Like, this little period here has been really good. He's been fairly consistent for us. I find myself feeling quite disappointed in that. We'll leave him to the physio. We'll let him get better properly. Rodriguez out for 2 days. That's fine, because we can still try and loan him out. Finances are the finances. I'm not that bothered about that. Right. I'm a bit gutted about that, but it is what it is. Right, we will come back for... Who knows? Well, if we get through the Super Copper, we're going to come back for the Super Copper final because you've not seen one of those. So we'll potentially do that. Do we want to bother with that? Do you know what? We won't bother with that. We'll keep the plan as it is. We'll come back for the Copa del Rey final if we get into that. That is thinking ahead quite a bit. We'll show you the highlights from this one because we've not really shown you any highlights from it. If we get to the final, that is. But other than that, we'll do what we normally do. We'll come back around the 3/4 mark, which would be around game day 27. I'm not sure which team that will be, but eyeballing it probably around here. Somewhere here, I would say Girona, Mallorca, maybe one of those games. We'll come back for one of those. Hopefully, we'll have recovered from this a little bit. I mean, we've only lost 2 games all season, but we really need to start pushing on a little bit more. And we need to get a little bit more of a foothold on the league because we were dominated at one point, but we've allowed Barcelona and Real Madrid to come back into it. And we need to turn that back around. I'm putting this one down to my probably build up to this game. Fitness as well, maybe. I mean, again, this might be me just hoping for a little bit. I can't show you, but I can't go backwards, unfortunately. But not really doing much training, just having a couple of games before this one was probably a bit of a mistake. Hopefully with a bit more training, we can get past Granada, we can get back on top, and we can make a push to the final half of the season, and we can try and retain this title, and hopefully we can do it in some style. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave a big like on there for me, and don't forget to subscribe as well. It's completely free to do so. You'll make me a very happy chap. I've been Stu, you guys have been awesome, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.